Grief often offers us an ultimatum: to turn toward or away from God. It has a way of making us second guess things that once seemed so easily truthful, and it has a way of keeping us from seeing what the day has to offer. Remembering the resurrection is difficult if you've been wandering the wilderness for so long. This time last year, when we were beginning our last Lent season, hot off a big pancake-filled Shrove Tuesday and already making Easter egg hunting plans, where we were deciding what we were going to fast from, we had some awareness of some sort of sickness off somewhere. Yet we were still meeting in our church building with our community physically around us and feeling that dryness of the ashes drawn across our foreheads. None of us could have imagined the year that we ended up having. None of us could have imagined that we would be forced to give up. None of us could have imagined the grief over cancellations and lack of even just a simple handshake with others. Never could have imagined the rewiring of our priorities that we now have. Yet, here we are again, still very much in the midst of a global pandemic, inescapably close to those who have been personally affected by the spread of the virus, posed with a decision to give something up. Are you kidding me? When reading this poetic Ecclesiastes text from the wisdom literature of the Hebrew Bible, I'm faced with the question of coming to terms with what time this season is in my life. Is it a time to weep or a time to laugh? Well, I could find reason for both. A time to mourn or a time to dance? I could find reason for both. A time to love or a time to hate? I most assuredly could find reason for both. For each of these things are valid and should be given the respect they deserve in their own time. But if you're anything like I am, then what this past year has done is it has exhausted me under the weight of being in all these different stages of time, all the time. Around my neck is what seems like a simple gold necklace that I wore at my commissioning back in October. And it is an acorn, the seed of what would become a big, beautiful oak tree. But inside of it are ashes, the cremains of my mother, her dust living inside the seed of new life. The book of Isaiah reads, "To provide for those who mourn in Zion, to give them a garland instead of ashes, the oil of gladness instead of mourning, the mantle of praise instead of a faint spirit. They will be called oaks of righteousness, the planting of the Lord to display his glory." When we approach this season of Lent, a time dedicated to fasting and meditation, we can approach it in two ways. The first is by fasting from something that we love as a sign of sacrifice and discipline. And the second is to give something up that is distancing us from God, something that we hope that in giving it up in this season, we will never do again. Though after a year of giving up so many things that I had no plans of giving up, I feel as though this spiritual practice has never been so difficult, yet it has never been so vital. Pope Francis once said, "Do you want to fast this Lent? Fast from hurting words and say kind words. Fast from sadness and be filled with gratitude. Fast from anger and be filled with patience. Fast from pessimism and be filled with hope. Fast from worries and trust in God. Fast from complaints and be contemplatively simple. Fast from pressures and be prayerful. Fast from bitterness and fill your heart with joy. Fast from selfishness and be compassionate to others. Fast from grudges and be reconciled. Fast from words and be silent so you can listen." In this season of Lent, we seem waist deep in ashes, be it the physical ashes of loved ones and the 2.5 million people who have died of COVID worldwide, or the metaphorical ashes of lost relationships, the ashes of big exciting plans and events canceled, the ashes for a future that once was, or even the ashes of feeling safe to just go outside. These ashes have the power to distance us from God, but they don't have to. We can choose otherwise. I invite you, as we step into this new season of Lent, where we even lament that we're not even distributing ashes, that we take this opportunity this evening to look at how we can become closer to God. so that we can see the new seeds God is still planting each day? Is it a time for keeping or a time for throwing away? For everything there is a season and a time for every matter under heaven. Let it be so.